What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you one of the best money plays in Madden 19, one of the best plays to just dominate up and down the field, a play that people are starting to run more, and it can be a pain to stop if you don't know what you're doing. Now the play I want to look at today is out of the gun trips tight end formation. Now of course many people are still running bunch, but some people are starting to run a little bit of trips tight end or mix it in a little bit more. And the play we want to look at today is the PA counter go. This has been a good play for some years now, and it's still good again this year. Not in the same way that it has been in the past years, though, completely. Now, this is in the New England playbook, of course. We're always in the New England playbook, it seems like, because it's such a good playbook. But you can also find this, I believe, in the Broncos and in the Chargers playbooks. I think it's probably just those three. But if you know of some other playbooks that it is in that I didn't list, definitely drop it in the comments below. So, the main thing with this play that is really so deadly, of course, is the deep crossing route, as they are every year, but especially this year, they're really tough to defend. And these speed out routes aren't as good as they used to be. They don't really get the separation, and they don't cut as fast as they used to. EA kind of nerfed those a little bit, toned them down. So those, unfortunately, aren't as good as they used to be. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you can set this up, and a bunch of different ways people do set it up. I'm going to show you a couple ways that I like to run it. So what I do is I take the tight end, I put him on a fade. This is one setup. And then we are going to go ahead and we're going to put Brandon Cooks. We could either put him on an in route or a drag. It's kind of up to you. And then I think sometimes the drag works a little bit better. And then we want to motion over the Y receiver. Now, you can also block your running back if you want. I feel like the blocking is a little bit better when you block the running back in terms of trying to hit the later developing routes, so that's kind of why I like to block them, and especially in practice mode because the block shed is just so crazy. So first we're going to show against cover 3. Now, the main route, of course, like I said, is the deep cross. That's what you're going to want to look to hit, especially versus people that want to sit in cover 3 all game. You're going to be able to get this window on the sideline all game long, especially people that like to run the 3-3-5 odd crossfire blitz, because that is a cover 3 shell in that blitz. So you're going to be able to, if you buy the time, if you block your running back, if you pick up the blitzer, which you're not always going to pick up the blitzer, but if you do, you're going to have all day, and this is going to be absolutely money. Jared Goff just airmailed that one, but you saw again Robert Woods open on the sideline. Now, of course, sometimes you're going to have to take your check down with this, or if they go user that route. So of course that's where Brandon Cooks comes into play. You dump it down to him, you get up the field, and you try to make something happen. Now, something else you have to keep in mind. So this speed in route is going to work in certain situations, but one thing that's good is, like, let's say, if someone's going, to try to user, someone takes this guy or whatever, and we'll just man him up on Woods just to simulate, let's say the user goes over there to cover that. Just depends on what coverage they're running, how the zones play out. I accidentally motioned the wrong guy. But if they take guys out of that middle area of the field to go guard the deep cross, sometimes that's going to open up this, what we're turning into like a deep in route to Cooper Kupp here. So if they try to go guard that crossing route, of course, of course we're getting hit with block shed because it's practice mode, and you can't block people in practice mode. But you see just how wide open Cooper Kupp gets on this play, because we simulated a user going to defend the deep cross. You see how we man the cross up? So if the user takes one of those guys out the middle of the field to go cover that, well, now you got Cooper Kupp wide open. You still, of course, have the drag you could check down too, but that's where that deep in route comes into play. So now we'll go to cover 2. And what you're going to notice, if people run a regular style cover 2, without dropping the middle linebacker into a deep blue, the crossing route is going to get matched. So watch what happens. Now you can still, look at this block shed. This is just it's unreal in practice mode. It's just, you can't block these guys in practice mode. They will come off every single time, pretty much. Don't get me wrong, you get block sheds in games sometimes too, but not like you do in practice mode. So anyway, I say this a million times a year. Now, you see how Cooper Kupp is defended? I'm going to let myself get sacked here because I'm trying to let this develop and show you what's happening. So, and we only rushed 3 guys that time, and that was still pretty quick block shed. Unreal. But, see what happens here is this middle linebacker is going to match. Now, in some instances, yes, you can still fit this in. It's not going to be as safe of a throw. Like, we have a pocket right here, but if we try to throw this, there's a good chance we, aren't going to get our feet in bounds. That's what happens against regular cover 2. The mid-read will match this, but when that happens, this is what you need to notice. Of course, you have the drag running underneath wide open, but again, Cooper Kupp, because that middle zone matches the deep cross, Cooper Kupp, I mean, there is nobody even near this man. Look how open he is. So that's why I like motioning that route over. So now let's do it again and actually hit some of the routes. I'm going to spy one of the defensive ends just because, you know, we're not going to be able to block him in practice mode. It just is what it is. So you're going to notice here, watch what happens. As he vacates the area, now we have Cooper Kupp wide open against a cover 2 because that mid-read is going to go match the crossing route every single time. And in-game, yes, there will be opportunities like where you still are going to burn that man and still be able to hit the route, sure. But a lot of times it's not going to be the case, so that's when you're going to want to look for the in route. I mean, the deep end route. Now, of course, against cover 2, you still have the drag route, which is going to get you good yardage. Especially if you put a fast guy there with some good juke or good spin, you can usually make that first guy miss, which is also really good. Now, if they do cover 2 and they drop the middle linebacker into the deep blue, because this is something a lot of people will do online, you know, more advanced players will usually drop that guy back into a deep blue. Personally, I think it's better to kind of leave him in a mid-read this year, but a lot of people still drop him back. So if they do that against a cover 2, well, then that is what's going to open up the cross because now there's nothing here to match him. Now there's nothing here to match them. So if they take this route, they're actually in the worst case scenario because then you're opening up pretty much every route. You're going to have the deep cross open because it's not getting matched. You're going to have the drag open underneath because the drag's going to be open no matter what unless they shade underneath. And then you're also going to have Cooper Kupp because that deep zone, I mean, look at this block shit. We're rushing 3 people. And I mean, I should be climbing the pocket there, honestly, but I'm just, in practice mode, I'm so scared of getting shedded that I don't climb the pocket. I try to move back and buy time. But you see here, Cooper Kupp, if they do this version of cover 2, literally everything gets open. You have the cross deep, you have Cooper Kupp over the middle, and you have the drag right here. So, like I said, in game you'll definitely have time to get these type of passes off. In practice mode, the deep routes you just don't. I've been lobbying for them to fix that forever. They still haven't fixed it. It's just there's just no need for the block shed to be super toned up, you know, every single play in practice mode. Now you got man defense, of course. Crossing route is going to destroy man every single time. Like, that's just what it is. It's going to destroy man every single time. And then you're also, of course, if you have a fast guy on the drag will usually get open for the majority of the time. And then if you have a good route runner here where Y is, he's going to get open as well, as you see. And, I mean, Jared Goff airmailing it, but you see we had a few yards on the defender. So you're not really going to run into a lot of man, but man's going to toast this as well. Now, another way you can set this up is fade the tight end, and then you can drag X, but then motion X over instead of motioning Cooper Kupp. Now, this isn't as good of a version, but what I like about this mainly is, like, it's basically going to all work the same way. The deep cross is going to beat man. It's going to beat cover 3. It'll beat cover 2 if they drop the middle linebacker back. The drag is going to get open against everything unless they shade underneath. But what I really like about this is if they do, like, a cover 2 and shade underneath, what you have is Cooper Kupp is a nice sideline catch. And basically this is just kind of a way to mix up the play so that it just doesn't always look the same. You see if they shade underneath, you have this nice route on the sideline. If they shade a cover 2 underneath, you would have the same thing happen as well, but people don't typically do that. But the rest of the play would still work the same. Like I said, if you do, you know, a cover 2, and if they do the cover 2 where they drop this guy back, you'll still have the crosser. You'll always have, the only time you won't have the crosser is if they run just a standard cover 2. Which some people will do, but not everybody. You'll always have the drag, and then if they shade underneath, you'll have the. I mean, we're just getting demolished. And I mean, look at this. We're getting demolished. This is crazy to me. Every play in practice mode, if you don't spy somebody or get the ball out immediately, like climb the pocket, doesn't matter. Everybody is just completely just mauling the offensive line. But you get the point. Those are the 2 ways you can run the play, and like I said, New England playbook, Chargers playbook, and Broncos playbook. One of the better plays in the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, minus the awful block shedding every 2 plays. But that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.